Hey guys, it is officially the end of 2024 and I'm going to be recapping all the books that I've read this year. I've read in total 23 books this year and 7,876 pages. So, to start off, my longest book this year was Oliver Twist, and my shortest book this year was Messenger. So now let me introduce you to the rankings. So my first one is Cried and Died, which means I cried so hard in the book and I would die to read it again. And then the second one is The Plot Carried, because I'm not very I love your writing style girl. I'm like, the plot was so good girl. This third one is Shakespeare Who, which basically means the writing was so good. I love the quotes. I literally highlighted the entire book. And then the fourth one is Wrote a Goodreads Essay. Basically, my review was either so good that I wrote so much for it, or so bad that I wrote so much about how bad it was. And the last one is I Want My Time Back, which means the book was so bad that I don't even want to continue reading it. And I probably paused midway or was just scanning through the lines just to finish the book. So this year, my first book was Tuesdays with Morrie. Okay, it's this book. Let me see how much stars I rated it. I rated it 4 stars. I honestly remember crying at the end of this book. This is a Christian book, by the way. So basically this book talks about an old man named Morrie, and he's interviewing him basically, and he actually writes a book about him and his life. And at the end, Morrie asks him to do a eulogy for him, so he has to know Morrie better and stuff. So for Morrie, Tuesdays with Morrie, I'm gonna rate it I did cry, but I don't think I cried a lot, and I don't actually remember since it was a year ago. But I think I'm gonna do Wrote a Goodreads Essay, because I could write an essay about that book because it was honestly so good. And I didn't write reviews back then on Goodreads, but I feel like I could have. And even though the book is so short, it was actually very fast to go through, and it had so much details that they covered with that short amount of pages. Okay, my next book is Betting on You. This is a pretty thick book and a romance book, but I love Lynn Painter. Her writing style is so amazing. Her plots and characters are so amazing as well. For this book, I rated it 4 stars. I kind of understand why I rated it 4 stars, because I was in love with the characters, and the plot in her book was also really good, because normally in romance books, they just fall in love and do all that cute stuff. But this book actually had a plot, which actually sealed the deal for me, because sometimes in romance books, they just fall in love and we already know what's going to happen. But this book, it was different. So if you want to know what the plot is, read it. But for this one, I have to say the plot carried, because if it was just a normal romance book, I probably wouldn't have gave it that high of a rating. Okay, the third book I read this year was To Hope and Back. I don't actually have a physical copy of this book, but it was a book I read in school, and it was talking about during the Holocaust and how people from Germany, Jews from Germany, had to leave to go to Cuba. They're seeking refugee there, and a story about a girl and a boy who were both on the same ship, except they were in different classes. So that's what the book was talking about. Considering it was also a historical fiction, I rated it 4 stars, and the average rating is a 3.99 stars. So I would say I'm pretty accurate with my rating. The writing was really good, and and I didn't really know anything a lot about the Holocaust and Jews going to Cuba, so I think the writing was really easy to understand as well. If you're not a really historical person, this is good, but also if you're a historical person, this is also good, because then you get both sides of the story. My next book is It Happened One Christmas. I'm pretty sure I rated this really low. I forgot to rate To Hope and Back. So for that book, I would say Shakespeare Who, because I feel the writing was really, really easy to understand. And even though it wasn't very deep and meaningful, I think the writing was easy to understand, and I didn't think I'd like it because I'm not a very historical fiction person, or just historical person in general. Obviously, the next book is It Happened One Christmas. Okay, this book I rated a 2 star. I kind of understand why, because this book was a very general romance book, and I feel it was a little cringy myself, and it was wait, maybe I should turn on this lamp. I guess you kind of just knew what the plot was, And I kind of, at the end, I was just scanning through the pages because I already knew what happened and didn't like that because I wanted there to be more of a plot, and I was hoping at the end there would be a plot, but nothing really happened. So I didn't really like this book in general. So in terms of rating, I have to give it I Want My Time Back. Next. The next book I have is, okay, The Midnight Library. I have an explanation. So I think I'm pretty sure I rated this a 3-star. Yes, that's correct. I rated it a 3-star. Basically what happened in this book is very much about suicide, mental health, having second chances, infinite lives, how important decisions can be. And I read this in grade 7, so I feel like the topic was just not for my age, and obviously a 7th grader does not want to read a book about suicide, and I know this topic is important, but I feel like it was a little, like, it wasn't that relatable to me, even though none of the romance books are relatable to me. I'm a hopeless romantic, so like, but I never really thought about suiciding or like how important my decisions can be, and my life isn't very much about choices right now since I'm still a child and I haven't even gone to high school yet. So this book wasn't really like deepening my understanding of myself and my choices. So I had to give this a 3-star, but I know that this book can also be really good for like young adults probably and for like mental health. But overall, I would say I Want My Time Back. Now this isn't a bad thing, but I just think that I didn't really need to read it at the point, and it's not the author's fault. I think it's my fault for actually choosing the book at that timing. But if I were to read it again, it'd probably be better. The next book I read was Icebreaker. And girl, I cannot tell you how much I hated this book. I feel like the book was all about sex. Like, there wasn't much plot. It was just, oh, he likes me, let's have sex. Okay, we don't like each other, but we're still gonna have sex. Like, there was nothing much about this book. And also, after like the first like 100 pages, I was kind of getting, like, I was like, for first 100 pages, I was like, okay. But this book was 430 pages. I'm not gonna read that much sex. I've never read that much smut before in my entire life off of one book.
It was at this moment that she knew. She f***ed up.
Are you serious right now, bro? I need to redo my single-use tier list because it deleted. Icebreaker is definitely I Want My Time Back. Oh, dang. Looking at this, I definitely had some bad books this year. And honestly, at this point, I was kind of in a reading slump because I just couldn't find any good books. But I was also in school and I was just like, meh. And I wasn't reading it as much as I used to. But my 6th book of this year was Gathering Blue. I also read this in school. It was kind of like The Giver, but in a different storyline, a different plot. I honestly liked this book. It was near the end of school year at this point, and I gave it a 4 stars. I was like dystopian fiction, and at that point I was kind of liking it because we just finished The Giver, and we also, I think we just, a girl named Kira, and she has like some talents. For the tier list, I think I'm going to do, well, I don't really know what to put it in, but I think I'm going to do a Goodreads essay for that. Actually, I don't have a lot to say about this book. So for Gathering Blue, I'm going to do Plot Carried. My next book is The 5 People We Meet on Vacation. Oh my god, this sky is so pretty right now. Let me show you. It's like pink. The next book is The 5 People We Meet on Vacation. This is rather a short book, as you can see. This is also made by Mitch Albom, the person who I also read at the beginning of the year, Tuesdays with Morrie. I definitely remember it was near the summer when I read this book because I was reading this outside. Don't ask me how I remember that, but I don't even remember what I read from this book. It was like about like 5 people and like different experiences, and how like some people that you think are like strangers are actually like very important in your life, and how your life can change other people's lives and stuff like that. This book was short, so it wasn't really a waste of my time, but it was kind of boring in a way, so I think I'm gonna do I Want My Time Back. The next book I read was Messengers. So this book was also by the same person as The Giver, Gathering Blue, and I decided to read Messenger. So this is about a dude named Maddie, and it's a very action book. It's also dystopian, and he has to go through like this dangerous forest and like fight it, and it like surrounds the community and it's getting dark. I think the plot was really good in this book. I just don't exactly remember it, but
oh brother, this guy stinks!
Reading it like gasping. So I think I'm gonna give it Plot Carried. My next book is One True Love. Let me go get it. It's a rather fast-paced book. It's about, this one I actually remember. It's about a girl named Emma, and she has a husband she ends up marrying, but the husband goes missing, and she goes back to her hometown, where she meets, I think, her childhood sweetheart or high school sweetheart, and they get together, but then it turns out her husband actually isn't dead, because he drowned in, he was supposed to like die in an ocean, but he found his way back, and she has to choose between her high school sweetheart that she's in love with right now, or her previous husband. Maybe it was really good. Did I cry in this book? I don't even know, because I normally give it a 5-star when I cry. Oh, I think I really like the quotes in this book, but it's worth it because look what you get: great loves, meaningful loves, true loves. I think the end really got me because at the end she was just talking about love and everything. I think I'm gonna give this a Shakespeare Who because I really like her writing. My next book is Divergent. It is pretty chunky, but it was so good. I don't even need check. I'm pretty sure, 100% sure actually. I rated this a 5-star. I love like how the author split like the book between romance and action, and then also like just like finding identity. I loved the romance part because I'm a romance reader for sure, but also I like how they separated it with action so that romance isn't the only thing, so it doesn't actually get boring. I think I'm gonna do Cried and Died because for the entire time in China, because I went to China at this time now, and I was like on the plane reading this, on the train reading this, I was reading it literally everywhere, and I definitely would have died to read it again. And I think I read this 2 times in China, so when I was traveling back I also read it again, so definitely Cried and Died. First 5-star book. Okay, my next book is Oliver Twist. Now this is when I'm in China, so I actually don't have the books with me right now. My uncle helped me borrow them from a Chinese library. Oliver Twist. So this is actually the longest book I read this year. It was 600 pages, and trust me, those 600 pages were not worth it. They were absolutely horrible. At the beginning I was like, okay, this is not bad, the writing's okay, it's a little old, but I can deal with it. And then it just got so boring, and I just could not continue reading it, and I literally just locked myself in my room just to finish that book. Definitely I want my time back. 100%, no considerations. Like, I need my time back, honestly. Anyways, next book I have is let me see, Madame Bovary. I also read this in China. Not a great book, probably another 1-star. It was a really fast read. I think I read it in about 2 hours, 3 hours time. The letters were also really big. I think it was pretty short of a book, and it just wasn't that interesting. There's no plot. There was just arranged marriage. It's kind of like olden time writing, which I don't exactly like. So I think I'm also gonna have to do. Well, I have a lot to talk about this book, and I won't say the book is extremely bad that I want my time back, because I can still say that I read it and it was okay. So I think I'm gonna do. I wrote a Goodreads essay on it. Oh wait, I don't even have this book on here, girl. Okay, the next book is The Diary of a Young Girl, Anne Frank. So this book is also about the Holocaust and hiding from it. This is a pretty popular book. I have it in my library as well. I don't want to say I liked it because it was kind of boring, but it was also kind of relatable, and she's just writing her diary. But the thing was, I rated this a 3-star because I wouldn't say it's hurtful and the writing is bad, because she literally didn't know this was going to become a book. They literally just took her information and they made a book, and she didn't know it was going to be a book. And the writing was honestly pretty good. She had like poems, I think she had some good scriptures, and like I can't really blame her for not rating it that well. I'm gonna do Shakespeare Who because the next one I have is The Love Hypothesis. I've already read this book 2 times. This is my 2nd time reading it. As you can see, we are in love with this book. My sisters are as well. The pages are literally broken. But of course, I love this book if I read it 2 times. The first time I cried because they broke up. And I'm in love with the characters. I love their personalities and how Ali Hazelwood framed the book. The only thing is, the sex scene was abnormally long. But I can't like curse the entire book off of one sex scene. So obviously I'm gonna do Cry and Die because I did cry, and I'm dying. I'm gonna die to meet those characters. So definitely Cry and Die. The next book is Funny Story by Emily Henry. A very popular book. Hear me out. Okay, I'm a very much of a plot reader, and I think Emily Henry is more of a literature girl. So obviously the writing was fabulous. The plot was okay, which is why I gave it, I think, a 3 or 4 stars. Most likely 3. It was kind of mid, and I've read better books from her. People Leaving on Vacation, even though it's a rather low-rated book, I really like the book. I cried at the end. Next, I have The Hunger Games. We got this at a thrift store. It was around $4. The thrift store is such a good place to get books. They're literally so cheap. But I gave it a 4-star. The writing and the idea was phenomenal. The only thing I hated was the ending. The ending was just not cutting it out for me. You need to read the book. Okay, spoiler. Just literally just get the book. But why did they die? Why did they both die at the end? I would have cried. I literally would have cried. And also, like, at least one of them should die, because if there's no point in making it happily ever after, because we're not going into books with happily ever after. I'm expecting to cry. I'm expecting to have a dramatic plot twist, but there just wasn't that. And at the end, there's just too much action. And the next book is Heart Bones. I don't have this book on me right now because I borrowed it in the library. It's about a girl. Her mom died due to overdose, and then she went to live with her father, and she met this guy named Samson, and like they just had this relationship, and he ended up not being too good for her, but she still believed in him, and at the end they ended up together. The book wasn't bad. I love Colleen Hoover's writing and the quotes she adds in the book, and her plots are pretty dang good. I gave this book a 4 stars because I've definitely read much better Colleen Hoover books, but this one was equally good. Definitely have to give it, it's between Plot Carried and Shakespeare Who, but I love Colleen Hoover's writing more than anything else, so I'm definitely giving it to Shakespeare Who. So the next book we have on our list is The Hating Game. Okay, The Hating Game. It was the typical romance book. I'm just gonna tell you because whatever, it's like you're gonna read this in the first 3 chapters or so, but they ended up kissing in an elevator when they were in the process of hating each other. This is an enemies to lovers book, and I feel like it's really hard to write a good enemies to lovers book, because there has to be like a good reason why they like each other now, and why like they decided to be together. This book was just not cutting it, because out of nowhere he just started kissing her, and it just, obviously the writing was good. I loved the book still, but it just made no sense. The next book is The Housemaid is Watching. Firstly, this isn't gonna to like how bad the book is, but girl did I get scammed. Look at the book, it's literally cut wrong. Why would they sell this to us? All the books are at the very corner of the page, and the summary isn't even there. So girl, I got scammed from Indigo, but I still love it, so it's fine. The Housemaid Watching, I gave it a 4-star. Oh, I gave it a 5-star, okay. She knows how to keep you hanging, girl. Like, she knows how to keep you staying up all night. Because at the end of every chapter, she has, like, this huge, like, bomb shell that she'll drop on you. That makes you sus on everybody. And you really have to just sit there, pause for, like, 30 seconds, and then continue reading, because, girl, you needed to consume that information. Definitely plot carried, because all her books are about the plots. And dang, are they good. Okay, the next book is 4. My tier list deleted again.
Are you serious?
Okay,
right now,
we're gonna
bro?
scrap the tier list idea because I'm too lazy to redo all of this. We're just gonna be ranking all of them. So the next one is a 4. I also got this at the thrift store. Didn't read this that good, I think. Oh, 2 stars. Okay, I could have gone without reading this, honestly. It was pretty short, so I guess it wasn't that bad. But like, I didn't really need to know all this information, and I guess it just wasn't worth it to read it. Like, oh, I want my time back kind of vibe, because girl, I could live without it, and I could live without reading this book. The next book is Insurgent. So at this point, I was like in love with 4, aka the male lead in Divergent. So I was kind of getting out of the romance thing, so I decided to pick up this book because it was also good for my reading journal. So I had this reading journal thing, and I had to like pick like a book with a lot of plot so I can actually write about it. So I didn't want to choose a romance book, so I chose this book. And dang, it's a chunky. But I got the collector's book. I think I also got this in the thrift store, and they have like tattoos and stuff, which are pretty cool. I rated this. I think I rated this pretty low. I'm not gonna lie, 3 stars. It was during like 70% of the way, I was getting so bored, and I really didn't want to read this. There was way too much action, and it was just very dragged and very stretched. And the last book, which I recently read, is Make Time. I took off the cover, but because it's hard to read with the cover. But here's the spine. It's just about freeing up productivity and stuff like that. I loved the writing. It was a 3-star for me personally. I feel like I could have given a higher. I just really like the writing and how it's not like the generic productivity books that people normally write to you about like so much scientific facts. Because I'm right now in a reading slump, so I might post a video about a reading slump, so watch out for that on the internet. Bye!